and welcome back to our Less of a Man podcast. And we want to thank everybody who listened to our first episode, who gave us, I think, amazing feedback, right, guys?
Real good feedback.
Yeah, some real good feedback.
So, one of the things I wanted to tell you guys is the Less of a Man. I got a bunch of questions about why is that the title. And basically, that is the title because it was from a rap lyric that said, if I cry tears, am I less of a man? So basically, we're talking about conversations that is kind of taboo for black males. Like, we're told not to open up and to express our emotions. And we're kind of going against that. So that's why the title is what it is. So before we get started, we got a full deck here today. Who's missing?
Welcome back.
We was one down. Now we got the whole squad here today. But before we get started on our topic, I just want to go around the room, do a quick mental health check-in to see how everybody's doing. So I guess Elwood, how you doing?
This is EJ.
Oh my God!
Bad, it is EJ. My bad.
Ever since when he been called EJ? Like nobody calls him. No one calls him
Lots of
EJ.
people call me EJ.
This was a new discovery.
I mean, we've only known him for 5 years, and now all of a sudden he's EJ.
We found out last week.
No, but a mic is in his hand.
It's EJ. You want to create a whole alter ego.
So my mental health check-in is it's good. Things are good. You know, I actually just got off work, so I'm glad to be here, unwinding with y'all, and, you know, just hanging out and talking about what we're talking about our topic today. So
cool. What about you, Sean?
Okay, I am so. You know, overall, personally, I'm doing fine.
So.
Yeah, I'm so.
Okay.
So dramatic.
Did you do this week?
Yeah, how many steps did you do?
I don't know. I'll get back to you.
I would say right now I'm at 8,000 steps. How many are you right now?
I'm at 14,128.
Okay, we all can't be walking back and forth at work.
No, I run. Well, he walks at work, but he also runs in the morning. I run in the morning.
I'm at 3,660.
You at what? The mic can't hear you.
I'm at 3,660.
3,000 steps, and it is 3:44.
You know what? It's funny. I actually have a story for this.
First of all,
No, let me explain.
I don't know how many steps I did,
Well, you don't have a Fitbit.
but I did run 7 miles this week.
Okay.
Nice. Well,
Great.
tell your story.
What I found
Faster
out
than you.
yesterday, and I discovered this. Me and Sneeda went into 2 stores yesterday. We went into At Home, and we went into Target. And none of my steps that I got in At Home or Target was picked up. I promise.
So it just magically.
Let me tell you what happened.
Is this going to be a long story?
No, it's not a long story. I went to At Home. I looked at my own watch. I walked a few more steps. No updates. As soon as I stepped out, start walking again.
All right, bro. What is your mental? We not even gonna. What is your mental health check-in?
After that story, now I'm stressed.
Yeah,
Like the Fitbit just decided.
Yeah, not to stop working. Like, come on,
people,
bro.
I promise.
But nah, I'm good. It's been a good week at work. No, I'm chilling. So,
Chilling. You sure?
Yeah.
Would you let us know if something happened? Raw is the type that he's a typical black male that doesn't express himself
At all.
So we wouldn't know if something was going on.
You know what?
What you mean?
He is the police officer of the group.
He is.
But
he is
I've been working on it. We had a whole discussion about some stuff.
Right,
we did have a conversation about that, and you have grown over
Yeah,
here. I
I'm
will give you
getting better, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Attribute
go ahead. Finish.
attribute to y'all and my fiance to make me want to talk all the damn time. Go to
All I
sleep.
had to do was did your fiance ask for a shout out? Like you mandatorily have to do a shout out.
Oh no, because I'm probably gonna get cursed out soon. So let's go.
Well, can I do my mental health check-in?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know we cared about you. I'm sorry.
Well, this week was a kind of stressful week. We had to go to the hospital. You know, my wife is pregnant. So we just had to go to the hospital. We spent a day and a half there. Just had to make sure everything is good. And as a male, man, it's like, you're so helpless in that situation. Like, it ain't really nothing you can do. Like, did you see that scene on Family Guy where Peter and Lois was in the bathroom throwing up, and Peter just turns up the volume on her?
Yeah.
Like, I understood him at that moment. What did I do at that moment, right?
Rub her back, console her. I don't know.
I guess so.
Be positive.
Be positive.
songs of praise, you know.
The fuck?
Well, I guess that leads us into our topic because we talk about the strength of black women, and this has been a interesting week for black women. Not a week and a half for black women. From Cardi B to Kamala Harris, it's been interesting to be on our social medias, and I'm sure you guys have seen it in the comments and the debates that are coming and the critiques that are coming down about them. I have a quick story. Everybody knows me. I like to always tell my stories. So I like to always begin the podcast with a story. And I'm huge into sports. I have my own sports podcast, Third Strings Podcast, by the way. Shameless plug. But we were watching the NFL draft. And watching the NFL draft, my wife was there and her mother was there, and start picking up on all the black athletes who were dating white women. And it seemed to be so much of them that they start making a game, basically, pointing out which one would do it. So then a male that was there was like, what does it matter? Love is love, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I said, the reason why it does matter is because the white athletes aren't dating black women. So if love was love, you would see the opposite.
Yeah.
But it's, for some reason, seems like the level of success, we're not valuing our sisters.
Okay.
So the quote I want to begin with is Malcolm X quote. It says, "The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. Mm-hmm. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman." So that leads me in my first question for you guys. Do we as black males do enough to value and protect black women? Who wants to go first? And before we start, I want everybody to know that we're all who's in relationships are dating black women. So I don't want anybody to come at us.
Except for me.
Well, you're single.
But you're single though.
And I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't be dating black women.
I mean, but when you did, did you not date black women?
I did.
Oh, okay. So I mean.
Well, thank you.
Well, it changed definitely for the black men. How about that?
Well, thank you.
Can you promise for that to us?
I don't make any promises.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to be on that yacht, B.
So black men aren't on the yachts. Anyway, back to the question though. Do we do enough to protect and value black women? In you guys' opinion?
No.
I would say no.
No.
Overall, no.
Yeah, it's a lot in that question. I would say, overall, no. And then what is shown in the media and how women are treated in the media is also not good. So it's just all around.
Yeah, I didn't really notice until I started doing my research about this topic, because I was even looking at Monique and how she got attacked.
Yeah.
And then even she has like legitimate arguments, but she was still attacked. And she even brought up, I was watching her, she was on the T.I. podcast, and I was watching her, and she says that you never see black men stand up for black women in the media. And for me being a black male, of course, I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not fair. But then she brings up like Hattie McDaniel, and you never saw her husband when defending her. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, she might have something there that we don't do enough, let me say.
I don't know if I agree with you definitely as far as us not doing enough. I don't know if the Hattie McDaniel would be the best example to use, considering the time and place that, that was happening. How much would a black male point of view have been valued at that particular
I'm
point
saying you didn't see him.
Yeah, well, exactly. But even if you would have seen him at that time, would his opinion been valued? Now, if you fast forward to...
Well, let me play white devil's advocate then. But you see Coretta Scott King, you saw her.
Still different time, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think also the thing that we also have to acknowledge is that there may be a good number of people black men that are protecting black women. We just don't see them in the public. And so that can be a misconception as well.
But could that be the problem? Because when something happens to us, they're out in front.
But my next question, is it more of not protecting, or is it a hypocrisy that we all have?
Well,
like for instance, we see black women as being strong and independent and stuff like that, and they always come out and support us. But when it's their turn, we feel like they should be able to stand on their own because they're so strong and independent.
Well, then that's the problem.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So like, is it that is more of support, or do we have a hypocrisy that we just don't acknowledge?
Or maybe it could be even deeper than that as men, are we comfortable in our women's success? And that's a lot of questions.
That's a dope.
True.
That's a dope question, because are men comfortable in women's success? And we've seen time and time again where the man gets upset if the woman's successful. I done told y'all I want my wife to be successful because I want to stay at home and play YouTube. I'm playing video games on YouTube for the rest of my life.
Basically, trying to do it. That's your more.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the Shaw, and
I'm glad you brought it up. But to your point, me and Steve have been married going on 13 years now. And of course, when we first got married, I was the breadwinner by far in our relationship. But then, of course, because of what happened to me over the past 3 years, that transitioned. So under any other circumstances, of course, I can handle that. But can a lot of other men be comfortable in knowing that they're not the breadwinners of their families?
And I think that was a point that you were making, with the question that you were bringing up. And I think that it has partially to do with upbringing, right? Because Black men are trained to understand that they are the breadwinners, they are the head of the household, they're the ones that should be, basically doing the doers, right? They should be the doers and the protectors. And then they have, in our mindset, then now the women should be in the background. So, I think that's part of the disconnect there. And I think that just thinking about relationships and just how we are presented in public is much different now than it was in the past. So I would say if we were, 50, 60 plus years, you would see husband and wife there, where Black man, Black woman, they're always together, and it's very different dynamic now. So I can see what you're saying, it's kind of like the woman's stuck out there by herself, and you don't see the Black man step up.
So, I feel like me I was raised by Black women. It was around most of the time. Yeah. So it's like seeing strong Black women, I could only want a strong Black woman. That somebody's going to stand up on her own, be able to do her own thing, and still be able to come home and we have a good conversation and engage together. Like, for instance, with you being not the breadwinner anymore, I'm fine if Danny make more money than me. Hopefully one day she does. I want to be like you, Daryl. Stay home and play video games. I don't want to, and plus I don't want to play video games. I just want to be out. I just want to be taken care of.
I want to be out. Why can't I be taken care of?
But on the flip side, having strong Black women in my life, I feel like I need to protect my fiance. Like anything she wants and stuff like that, I'm always willing to, bend for her and do stuff for her. Like I still put her on the inside when we walk down the street. Like I still.
That's wow.
Yeah. So
and people don't
think like that. Yeah,
right. It's not taught.
Yeah. Right, and it's like so that's how I grew up, knowing that I had to put her on the inside. Exactly. Like I gotta protect her. Like I don't like anybody saying anything to her. It makes me mad. Like even her family members. And
you mean just anything negative? Just
negative. Yeah, negative.
And then he gets upset.
No. Mad when I message her, I'm like, Danny, we gotta talk.
I'm mad. Yeah.
I'm mad for different reasons. That's a different whole conversation. But no, I don't like when people say anything to her negatively. It affects me, and I feel like I need to protect her. Right.
So what do you think, in general, why do we feel like they're not there? Why do we feel like Black men are not?
Yeah, and I think that
all of y'all, if I look at y'all and y'all how you guys operate with your fiance, your wives now, I see what the opposite of what we're talking about today.
Right.
So what do you see in public that kind of?
I don't, but that's what I think frustrates me. So if you remember, there was a guy in New York, and he was trying to holler at a girl. She turned him down, and he hit her
in the face with a skateboard?
With the skateboard.
Yeah.
So then social media was like, see, this is why we don't feel protected by Black men. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, look, I don't know a person who walks around with a skateboard trying to. So I found myself getting offended by that comment. But then I think I have to realize and try to put myself in their shoes and try to empathize with them that this is what they feel. So maybe it's not me who they're talking about.
I feel like more in that instance was nobody else stepped up and be like, yo, bro, what you doing? And you hear other people laughing in the background, and that's normal. You'll see a chick walk down the street and some dude try to holler at her, and then she blows him off, and all of a sudden she turns into all bitches and hoes and shit like that. But nobody says anything. We just keep going on. But
But I wanted to say that that's not the norm. I don't know a friend of mine that I know would do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's your group of friends.
Right.
So it's not
I think that's what's so difficult for me to try to figure out is okay, so why is this the case?
Well, I think it's deep rooted. I mean, to your point, you bring up the Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott's name. Look at the role she played in her family in terms of even all the roles that women played during that period of time. the roles of women in our time are changing in comparison to when they were housewives. They're running they're CEOs. They're running boardrooms. So it's a different type of energy that women are giving off that men just aren't comfortable with. Like, can you really be in a situation where you truly look at the other gender as your equal? And we're so used to seeing them as being the assistant and not necessarily being the one that's saying, okay, we're a team.
Right.
And that's where I think men have to start getting comfortable with. But and more importantly, as a woman, do you want a man that's maybe not doing as well as you and actually be comfortable and not emasculate him when it's not where you are career-wise?
That's a different podcast answer.
You know what I'm saying?
Different people got to answer that.
Yeah.
Much to unpack in
Yeah.
that
So my question then is, why do we see, like, I just told you the story about the NFL draft. So why do we see, like, I only know 2 white athletes who have black wives and girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other one is Travis Kelce.
I was going
Travis Kelce seemed like a person. When I see his girlfriend, I was like,
it makes sense.
That made
It makes sense. Like, you see Travis Kelce walking down the street, be like, oh yeah, he got a black
that
girlfriend.
made a lot of sense.
It makes sense.
But so I only named 2 that I know of personally. But then we can name a ton of black athletes who have white girlfriends. Like, I just, if it's truly love is love, then you would see more on the other side that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it when males seem to be successful that we don't choose? I don't even think that we don't choose it. I think it's more shown that we kind of don't choose it. Like, why is it like the NBA draft, NFL draft? NBA draft is in October, I think. We can play this game in October and see how many. But why is the success always seems like they go outside? Even Michael B. Jordan got in trouble for saying he prefers kind of white women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is that? Because that shows that we don't value
I think it's proximity. When you think about it.
proximity.
Yes, think about where a lot of these athletes, the schools they're going to. They're going to D1 schools. You think about UGA right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
How many? What you think percentage of the black females that's on UGA's campus, on Alabama's campus, on LSU's campus, where you're,
But I would feel like there would be more at those schools. Those schools are in the South, and the majority of the population in the area is black.
UGA was having a serious problem with recruiting students of color. It really was an issue at one point. And if you're an athlete and that's what you're around,
So you're saying the only choice is white women.
Think about your situation. You were at brain freeze.
I was at Clark Atlanta University.
At Clark. Who you were around?
That's true. But also my mom taught me that about a black woman. Like, my mom I would hope her view would have changed now, but she would have had a heart attack if I brought a white woman home.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taught to kind of value. And plus, I'm like, oh, y'all were, my mom raised me. My dad wasn't there. So my mom raised me. So I see the importance, I see the strength of it. And I also see that it's like, it's difficult, man. Mm-hmm. It's difficult, and you need that man there. Most children and households are successful when both parents are in the household.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I think that a part of it is largely how black women are portrayed in society, period. Like, so we make it seem like black women are always just so mouthy and just so
angry
and just so angry, and they can never just be passionate about something. They can never have be emotional about something without actually being angry.
Right,
and that's the association. You always get, what is that? Angry black woman. That's what you get. So if they feel offended by something and they tell you about it, then automatically the response to that is, oh, she's just an angry black woman. So it's like,
it brushes it off.
And it gets kind of brushed off. And I think that portrays a lot of it. And I don't really look at who dates black and white. Like, that doesn't bother me. So there's not an issue with it. I would like to see more examples of black people loving black people. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I think that honestly has a lot to do with it. Like, if you look in, I'm just trying to think about what we see on TV. Like, what are the examples of what we see on TV? We see the female rappers. We see What else? We see the video vixens. We
Yeah.
see
Right.
the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Right.
We see the the Love and Hip Hop. Those are the shows that we get. We don't get a lot of the like.
So we don't see no Harriets no more. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Claire Huxtable.
Like those images are given to
Yeah.
us unless we make our own movies, and in those movies, we
ultra
barely ever like support. So it's like
the other half of that is black women are either portrayed as uber successful, or uber ratchet.
Right.
There's nothing in between at all.
Right. So don't you think like you get the whole stereotype of the angry black woman because black women feel like they have to overachieve or over show out, like they are here too, like they're overlooked and they have to do extra to be seen.
No, it's not even just that they think that they have to
Right.
in order to be in the same position as their counterparts from
So to be taken seriously, then I guess they have to be overexerted, and that's how we get the angry black woman stipulation. It's like, oh, you just angry, but it's hard when you keep getting overlooked year after year after year, and you feel like you got to do more.
So me navigating corporate America, and I have to give a shout out to the person who helped me the most was a black woman, and her name is Anisha Sanders. I just want to give her a shout out, and she was a person I could go to.
Anisha.
I could go to her and try to talk to her about navigating this. And even when she was like fighting for us and doing all this, she was labeled as it as well. And I could see that even for her span, if you talk to her, she's like the sweetest person you can meet. She wasn't no bitch at all, none of that. But when she got into those upper heads and talking to them, she became that to them. Because she's doing the simple thing of looking out for like the people underneath her, and she helped me guide. She gives me countless books. So I owe black women a lot.
Right. Same thing in my career too. I had every step of the way, I had a black woman there pushing me. So Monica is one of mine from whenever I started back in Frederick. And then when I came to Atlanta, Lamika is another one of them. And now I have another friend, Sharice, and they're always like pushing me. They're like, hey, you should be doing this. This is not the road you need to be in. You need to be thinking bigger. You need to be, I know you could be bigger. So it's like, I've had all those examples, and me as well. My dad was not away, but he was in the military. Right. So it wasn't like he was not necessarily in the picture. He just wasn't around. But I have my mom there and I have my sisters. So I definitely feel like I value black women, and I always try to protect them. I've always been very protective of my sisters, but yeah, it's always been honestly black women that's pushing me.
So basically what I'm hearing is we all at least vibe. So this is probably a conversation that we need to have with other people, because obviously
throw out any names.
Please don't throw out the names in here.
That's stupid.
So the issue is that we have seen a few examples in the media now where it seems like the critique is a little different when it comes to a black woman. So Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion just released a song, that WAP, and people got attacked. She got attacked for it because people were like, the song is too vulgar. You're bringing feminism down. You're exploiting your bodies. What do you guys, when y'all first heard the song? Raw wants to speak. He's eating.
He's excited.
He was really waiting for this one.
Did you like the video?
I saw when the video. I saw when the video. The song premiered at midnight that night.
Oh, you was waiting.
I was watching. I was working the EJ, but don't worry about that.
That don't make no. You were still waiting.
So it was standing there.
Okay.
First of all, I don't eat donuts.
Were your EJs in a club? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, it was at a club.
But yet you had time to explore the Cardi B.
Yeah, they premiered it at the club.
Oh, okay.
They premiered it. Okay. Go ahead.
So I watched the video. Did like the video. Megan Thee Stallion.
The video is nice.
It's nice. I listened to the song, did all that stuff. I was like, I didn't have a problem with it. And then all of a sudden I started seeing social media, everybody attacking them and all that stuff. And I'm like, why? Right. The only bad thing, the only thing I don't like about the song was like when she started talking about she don't cook and she don't clean. But she rich, she got a maid, do whatever you want to do.
She's also married.
She's also married, and she just gave her husband $300,000 for his birthday.
Okay.
So she can't. I'm gonna. I have
me 3 on
exactly. So it is. It is what it is. Me coming from a different culture, I don't see a problem with the song.
What's your culture, by the way? People don't know.
I'm West Indian. So
yeah. Can you say it?
I'm from Barbados.
Okay,
West
thank
Indian.
you.
So
People don't know you, bro. They
Right,
don't
my
know
bad.
who you
But
are.
I guess I view sexuality as something totally different, and so the video is nothing. What they were wearing is nothing less than what you wear to go to carnival, like.
But it's also they weren't dressed bad.
Right, and it's like I grew up on songs.
I
I grew up on songs from Spice, Lady Saw, stuff like that. So I mean,
So you're more exposed to it.
I mean, those were you want vulgar, like those were vulgar lyrics, and they were talking about
Americans, man.
sexuality. I'm not finished. I'm still going.
I'm sorry,
I'm still going.
Oh, hold on.
So like for like a story that I had is like basically, so my fiance, she's American, and so I exposed. Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, the people don't know her.
I know.
Danny is American.
Danny is very American. So she started making like West Indian friends, and, I exposed her to like different cultures and stuff like that. So for 1 year, she wanted to go to Miami Carnival. And I was like, go ahead. She's like, you want to go? I'm like, no, you go with your friends, you have fun. So someone said to her, he's going to let you go and be half naked out there? Like, he don't respect you. I'm like, first of all, that has nothing with me not respecting her. I just grew up different. I've seen it, and it's people out there having fun, they do what they do, and then carry on, and that's it. I don't have a problem with her going and having a good time. She's literally wearing a bathing suit. What's the difference of going to the beach and seeing her in a bathing suit and seeing her walking down the street?
America, sex is more taboo.
Yeah.
Than overseas is.
Than most other countries.
But I'll let y'all two speak before I speak.
Okay. So let's not act.
Morris don't like talking about sex.
He's very uncomfortable.
He's very comfortable.
He's actually blushing.
I would be comfortable for this podcast, so
Barely.
Barely though. So, okay, so let's not act like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion was not going for shock value. I think we could agree that that's what they were aiming for.
Yeah, but so it's slob on my knob.
But I'll get that.
Right.
Let them
I'm getting there. So did they accomplish what they wanted to accomplish?
Yes,
they did. That's the first part of it.
Absolutely.
Now, is it any more vulgar than slob on my knob? Absolutely not. Well, it is debatable. Okay, it is debatable.
But honestly, you have that, and then you have Too Short.
No, great.
Let me
we can rank it. We can rank them, but pretty much the same thing that song was going for, the same thing that Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi was going for. Now, as any adult that is sexually active, did they say anything that we were surprised by?
No,
not at all. So that
she said to write it, and I will spell my name. I was like,
are you
talking about Meg the Stallion? Like, are we talking about
I was
Stallion? Are we? Yeah, I was like,
I was like, show me how you do that.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. I was intrigued by that part.
So you were intrigued by that part?
Yeah, because I was trying to look up her actual name. I was trying to figure out.
But Daryl, I guess you like this question. Would you have your daughter at the end of the day listening to the song?
No, I'm her chest.
Exactly. So I guess that's the point.
But again, she's like,
but that's my point.
Yeah, she's 9.
She's 9.
Granted, she's 9. So yes, I punch her in the chest.
She's 9.
And she came around the corner talking about that WAP. I punch her in the chest. Yes. Because and I'm gonna say my point, and you're leading me to my point, but I want Edward.
No, I just don't think. I honestly don't think that it's as bad. It's not worse than anything that we've ever heard. Honestly, if you think about our parents, their songs were vulgar back in the day. Their songs were considered vulgar. Songs that we grew up to were vulgar.
Ours was definitely vulgar.
Way vulgar. There were things that I didn't realize what they were until I was an adult. And I was like, just singing them like they're just like things you should be saying as a kid. But
Secret lovers.
The crazy thing about this this topic is that we want women to be fit, like to explore their sexuality, but we give them limits. To how far that they can go.
We want them.
Right. How we want them to explore.
We all want a nasty chick, but we don't want her to talk about how nasty she is.
In public.
So it's like that annoys me to no end, because everyone always brings it up. Oh, well, you're just setting back, feminism. You're not sending them back anywhere because you should be able to say what you want, express your body in the way that you feel like. That's what feminism is about. It's about
the choice.
Exactly. So how dare you say, oh, well, you're setting us back, but you're about let us be our own people.
Right.
Like, honestly, that just annoys me.
But my beef with feminism, before I get into my point, was sometimes they embrace Cardi B, but then they like shun like Aisha Curry. Yeah. And feminism should be the right to choose whichever one that you want to be. Right. So my critique of the song is, first, I have no issue with the song. I have no problem with it.
You just want to let your 9-year-old daughter sing it?
No, hell no. But I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna be getting to that, but I think the only thing we should critique is the song good. To me, the song is just okay. Like, to me, it's nothing. As soon as I heard it once, I saw the video, I'm cool to never hear it again. But
it's not for us though.
Yeah, it is. I get it.
It's more for like the females.
So then, I think that's the only thing.
I like the song and I listen to it a lot when I'm working out.
Okay, but I'm saying that should be our critique, not that it is too vulgar or not. Like, you guys just nailed the nail on the head, and that's what I was gonna say. The first vulgar song I ever heard to was 3 6 Mafia, Slide on My Now. And when I heard that song, I was over my friend's house. I swear, I was terrified because I thought my mom was gonna break through any second and hear me sing the song. She was gonna figure out where I was. Dad, I'm listening to this song, and I'm just like, man, people talk like this? Like this is actually like so. I think a lot of us that speak about this forget that we were kids doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Now, it also gives the right. Now, y'all brought up my daughter. This is why people need to be parents. Yeah. It should, yes, I can't stop my daughter from going to school and being around her friends and listening, but she shouldn't be in the house talking about that WAP. Yeah. Or she's going to get a punch in the chest. Because she shouldn't be. She don't know what she's talking about.
She don't want CPS to be calling.
Yeah, please don't.
Well, they're going to come for me. If she says that WAP. Because I went up to my fiance and I was like, you got that WAP?
Your fiance. You're married now, bro.
Oh, I'm married. Dang, I'm so used to it. Dang. Oh, wow.
Don't mess up, bro.
I'm so used to, excuse me, my wife, and said, you got that WAP? And she was like, I got to if I'm pregnant. So, so I don't have an issue with the song. And it sounds like none of us have an issue with the actual song, especially when there's so many lyrics, so many songs, 2 Live Crew, Too Short, you just named. Who's a
lot of West Indian artists that talk about.
A lot of West Indian artists. So my question to you guys is then, if we all have no issue with this record, what's with the backlash then?
Yeah,
I don't get the backlash, so I can't answer your question. I don't get it.
Okay, so Raw is out.
I don't get it.
I guess what I'm trying to think about the other side, people, I guess they think that, okay, we're trying to progress and we're trying to be taken serious. If this is the image that you're putting in front of people, then it kind of like jeopardizes our ability to move forward, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I can understand that mindset. If you have someone that's, if you're trying to move, like women are trying to move more into the corporate world, more into like, owning.
But you think things. Cardi B is going to stop?
I think that's the mindset. No, that's not what I believe. What I'm trying to think about is what the mindset would be. Like, these images are selling us short. I can see that being what people are saying, but I don't feel like you should be limiting yourself to, okay, well, this image dictates everything for all. That's the same thing with let's use a common topic, black men, right? So if one black man hates women, treats them poorly, doesn't mean that all black men do that. So I don't feel like that's like a valid, I mean, I get it, but I'm like, how do you deal with that?
What you're saying is, where there's a Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, there's also a 50 Cent, who only he talks about killing and all that stuff.
Right. So my question, my thing to what you were saying, if that's the case, then why do we put so much ratings in reality TV? You see,
that's not me, but that's just
right. But I'm saying, like, we talking about, we want to move forward, we want to be taken seriously and do all that stuff, and then we fall back on reality TV.
No, it's entertainment.
But then the music is real entertainment.
No,
so you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, you got to pick one.
Like, Marriage Boot Camp was one of my guilty pleasures right now. Hip hop Marriage Boot Camp. But it's just entertainment. I don't take too much stock. I like the exercises that he put them through. I don't take too much stock in their relationship. I really don't care. But it's just entertainment. The WAP song is just entertainment. That is it. I understand the times that we're in, and we're trying to, the black struggle, and we're trying to do that. But also, it's balance.
Yeah.
All this song is entertainment. Go ahead, Shark.
I guess the question is, can we celebrate Cardi B and Kamala at the same time? And I think that's what.
Well, not even those because they're too different. If you have Cardi being like Rhapsody.
Well, not even that. But I see you in terms of Rhapsody.
They're accomplishing things that haven't been accomplished before.
Yeah,
like they hit #1 U.S. charts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they hit #1,
and it was just like it hadn't happened before. So that's an accomplishment. And then Kamala Harris, now being the pick for vice president is also a big accomplishment. And I feel like you should be able to celebrate both of them. Now, are they both in the same kind of category as far as when you're looking at them?
But it also gives you a gauge of the spectrum, though. Like you can be successful in your own lane. Like Kamala Harris is more of a professional. People want to say professional politician and have a career in that way. And then Cardi, she brought herself out of the strip club, bad situations, and now she's on top of one of the best female rappers.
Right.
So it's like,
you know what I'm saying, and that's the part that we don't want to accept. I mean, she's having sex, Kamala.
I don't think we don't want to accept that.
No, we just don't think of it.
We don't think of it.
Right, Shark.
But no, what I say is, I'm saying this is like, I don't think. No,
let's review your Pornhub.
What I'm getting at is that as Americans, I don't think we have a natural progression in terms from childhood to adulthood in terms of from a sexual perspective. Mm-hmm. We still look at it as such a taboo. It's such a taboo. But the thing about it is we should be able to, like for example, you may have your daughter not prevent her from looking at the video, but eventually we all know that she's going to get to it. You know what I'm saying? But
you gotta be prepared to have that conversation with her when she sees it.
Right. So and that was worse.
And then that's the thing. It's like we're not mature enough to have those conversations. It's like you just look at it and you be like, we shouldn't talk about sex, but you're going to be having it. But you're having sex, so we can't talk about sex when you're having sex.
But
like,
also,
that's weird.
I think the main thing is about women exploiting their bodies, because I think Meg Stallion, she made a line like, make them pay your tuition, basically. Mm-hmm. So about exploiting women, but I don't want Meg Stallion to raise my kid.
So then what's the problem with get that bread, get that head, and then leave?
No,
ain't nobody saying nothing about that.
No, but I'm saying
there's
songs, and then we go on the other side where you got males talking about, yo, I'm gonna pay your tuition, strip club, I'm gonna pay for a bag and all that stuff.
Those are the people we should be mad at.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that Meg the Stallion should not be raising my kid anyway.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't look to her. I don't look at Cardi B and all the people who's like dogging Cardi B. Cardi B is married. Mm-hmm. Like, so everything she's talking about with her husband. I would love for my wife to come in and say that. I spell my name. Like, that's talking about her husband.
I think that was too far.
I'm just saying, Cardi B is married. Like, for people to say she's not, she is married. Mm-hmm. Talking about that. Like, if you want to talk about...
She says in the song, I'll show you how I got this ring.
I got the ring.
Right. Yeah. But also the other half of it is, how much do you think is because people just want to be offended in social media?
That's 2020.
That's society, period. Everybody is just upset about everything.
You can't be portraying women like this right now because we need to change our image, and it's about feminism, and it's about our image, and we need to.
So let me ask you.
You should be about all of it.
But can I play devil's advocate then? Why isn't Rhapsody #1 then?
I'm not. That's not my perspective.
No, I'm just asking. Why isn't Rhapsody #1?
Rhapsody's not taking her clothes off.
Why is No Name #1? You have positive women, but they're not #1. Why was #1?
Exactly.
Because everybody wants that shock value, but they don't want to accept and say, I want that shock value. They want to say, they want to be out here and sing it in the club or in the car or in the shower, but be in public, be like, oh, that's wrong. Yeah. How?
So you want to be like church folks? Is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So then my question to you guys, my next question is, we seen little remixes. Safari made one bad. It was so stupid.
I did not see that one.
It's whack.
Yeah,
he's whack. Period.
Okay, that's not the topic. Jesus Christ, we gotta pick a whole.
Everyone thinks that Safari
is whack.
So also Plies came out with I haven't heard his yet, but Plies came out with one too. Why didn't males get the same backlash when they come out with a song like this? Then.
Because it's expected.
It's expected.
It's expected. It's expected for men to be. Yeah, expected for men to be overly sexual, or be horny, and talk about sex all the time. It's expected.
But why do you think they felt the need to respond?
Well, Safari said it. He said that basically, you remember when TLC made No Scrubs, and then I forgot the group made No Pigeons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Basically, that was his response. Remember Kaya, My Neck, My Back, and then T.I. responded.
Yeah.
So it was basically a response. But my question is, why do we have to respond? They wasn't dogging, man. Like, why do you feel like a hit dog will holler?
Yeah.
And it's like you feel the need to respond because you feel like
No,
for some reason.
You know what it is? I don't feel that they felt the need to respond because of that. I felt they needed to respond because the song is hot and they wanted to get their name out there.
Right.
That's all it is. Publicity. It's all publicity. That had nothing to do with responding to that song. You just want to get your name out there right now and be relevant and keep yourself relevant.
And I'm
that's
just
all it
about
is.
The Savari one. I haven't heard the Plies one. The Plies one, I believe it had a lot of streams. So I heard the Plies one.
That's like his wheelhouse, help Plies do.
Yeah, that's who. But nobody text Plies.
Yeah.
Nobody text.
Right.
So we have no really definitive answer why the males kind of get away. It's just that it is kind of
it's expected. That's it.
Yeah, that's crazy because and my wife came up to me and we were talking about because we have a son on the way and how I would interact with him differently than I interact with my daughter. And I said the same thing. I want him to avoid having sex as long as possible because WAP is powerful. He might have the cure for cancer as soon as he gets that WAP.
Going out the window.
And going out the window. And going out the window. So I view it differently. I treat it the same. I want both of them to hold out as much as possible, but I'm also going to explain to them the consequences if they go this route. The consequences that could happen from it. So let's switch gears a little bit. All right. So Cardi B made history, but also
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
And Megan Thee Stallion, yes, I'm sorry.
Verses where it made the song.
Yeah. Megan Stallion was.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Stallion.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
With that Texas swing.
Whew.
So I was sitting back in my place, and I got the text, and it's funny that I get most of my news from EJ. Most of my news come from him for some reason, and he texts our group, and he's just like, Kamala Harris got picked. And I went straight to, because I don't trust anything you guys say, because somebody told us John Lewis passed before he actually passed.
Me eat my cookies.
More.
I eat my cookie.
So I don't trust.
Now?
Yeah, I don't trust anything you guys say. So I go research it for myself before I say something. But
I don't even know why you don't. I always
because it was such a bad taste for.
I mean, I always look up stuff.
No, you do.
I was a week early. I mean, I was.
It was.
So
that's not the point.
My question to you guys is: Kamala Harris was my first pick. So when I saw it, I was amped. So for y'all, I was amped and I was excited. I was scared that Joe Biden, because Joe Biden has said so many things through this campaign trail that are problematic. And I was like, he needs to be checked. And the only person that can check him right now is a black woman. Said he needs a black woman. And Kamala Harris was always my number one pick. So I was amped when I heard it. I want to know how did y'all feel when y'all heard the news?
I was excited.
I was happy. I was happy. I felt like that was the best choice for him at this point in this running.
I did too.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I like Elizabeth Warren. I like her policies. I like her ideas. Do I think that United States is ready for that? No. But I also thought that Kamala Harris we talked about this. I thought Kamala Harris was a good choice of a candidate because she does a lot. And she is involved in a lot of reforms. So,
but do you think if he would have chose Elizabeth Warren,
oh no,
the streets would have lit on fire?
Another protest.
It would have lit on fire if he chose her. I agree with you, Elizabeth.
I don't know because there's mixed signals with Kamala Harris anyway with the black people. I think it wouldn't have been as good for him only because she's so progressive and her ideas are not in line with most Americans. It is in line with most Americans, but not in line with the Electoral College.
Right.
So it wouldn't have been a strong choice for him.
So let me ask y'all then, if he would have chose, let's say Stacey Abrams, would y'all still would have been excited?
I don't think she had the.
She don't have the resume.
She doesn't have the resume. She doesn't have the political cachet.
Yeah, she needs more.
But
I like Stacey Abrams.
I do like Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
And I feel like she got cheated.
She definitely got cheated. But I'm just saying, she doesn't have the political cachet to really stand there and really be a strong running mate and bring people out. Because outside of Georgia, who really knows her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she has a national platform. It's just that she just hasn't really had
around enough.
She also had a national platform because Trump tried to attack because he was going for Kim.
Right.
So, but my question for you guys now is: so we're all excited about Kamala Harris. Do you think it's fair? Because we all asked for a black woman. 100 black men wrote a letter to Biden, along with a number of black women, that Biden needs to choose a black woman for his running mate. Now that we chose Kamala Harris, our Facebook my Facebook definitely has been a little different. A little different than what I thought.
Yeah.
Very mixed. Do you think it's fair to bring up her prosecution record as a prosecutor and make it as a reason to not vote for her?
No.
I don't know.
I don't agree.
Please explain.
For my own fact is, she was a prosecutor. That's her job.
Right.
You may not agree with everything that you have to do in your job, but you still have to do your job to the best of your abilities.
Right.
So if she did her job and it's happened that she did prosecute black men, it wasn't like she went out there and said, hey, to her DA, give me every black man. Every case that has a black man, I want to prosecute it.
Right.
She has a DA, she has a boss. The boss gives her cases. Right. She has to review those cases and do her job to the best of her ability, and they so happen to be black men. We're not talking about the other people she prosecuted, how many other people she put in jail. All we talk about is she prosecuted black men. Yeah. And I can almost guarantee that she prosecuted other people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, her statistics are this, as a prosecutor, 49 violent crime trials that she's gone to, 36 convictions, so 84% success rate.
Okay.
And that was from 2004 to 2006. And she achieved 87% conviction rate for homicides.
Okay.
90% conviction rate for felony gun violations.
Okay.
So I think
she did her job.
I think while it is important to understand the history of your candidate that you are that you want in office, you have to understand their whole entire history, right? If it was just about her and convicting people and about her and just, always putting black people behind bars, that's a different story. But she did other things on the same thing. She was really about reform for police officers.
And marijuana.
And she was reform for, first time offenders, having them miss jail time and do education, get a GED or get a degree. She had a lot of different things that she was doing at the same time that are overshadowing. Right. That are not overshadowing what people are looking at as far as her job.
So basically, she's been her conviction of violent crime and happen to be black men that she's prosecuting is overshadowing all the other things that she wants done.
Yeah, because she's huge for like if you watch Fox News. I don't watch Fox News because I understand their talking points. There's no reason. It's just a waste of my time for me to listen to them. But if you listen to them, they'll say one time she's hard on crime, and then she's too progressive on crime. Right. And that's what I'm seeing with Facebook. Nobody really understands her, and they're trying to put and the problem with social media is they get whatever stupid meme that agrees with their opinion.
Jump to conclusions. Jump to conclusions.
And they actually show it.
And you also have to think about the time. So the time that they were doing, she was in prosecution, it was like the time where they were being super hard on what was the crime bills were there.
She had 3 strikes because she was in California,
right? And so she was actually going around that, and she picked up slack because she went around that. She didn't want to do the harsh penalties for a lot of things, and she was trying to reform things where people were like, no, it needs to be tougher on crime. It needs to be tougher on crime. So then when she's tougher on crime, because she has to do that as her job, and as you also got to think of it this way, we're just talking about black women and how it's harder for them to move up into different areas. So her goal is to be in the U.S. Senate. She's moving up, from prosecutor to what was she after that? She was a general attorney. She district attorney, general attorney. She's going to have to kind of be able to compete with men. Right. So only way for her to do that is to what?
Yeah, but it's not like
do her job better. Do her job better than other people.
Right.
Let's keep it real. Do her job better than her white counterparts and white males.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's not. But people would talk about real quick, Sean. I'll let you talk. It's not like she was having that WAP every time a black person came into her court.
Oh my god!
And that's what you would think. Yeah. You would if you go on Facebook. That's what you think. Like her target were black males, and it's just so idiotic and it's so stupid. Go ahead.
But I guess that the question is as black Americans, do we want to take accountability for the fact that we know there's police reform that's needed? But at the same time, there's a lot of crime that we're responsible for. So do we want to take that accountability instead of putting it on the person who's actually doing their job?
Talking about black on black
and
crime.
black on black. I mean, I know it's touchy, but I'm just saying, like, there's of course the root cause as why black on black crime is there. But at the end of the day,
she was convicting criminals.
She was convicting criminals, and unless you have examples of her prosecuting an innocent black man,
knowingly prosecuting, because you guys, I think she's a prosecutor, so she's coming to court with the evidence that's provided to her.
Right.
So if she's given evidence that says, well, this person did X, Y, and Z, she's going to prosecute it as this person did X, Y, and Z, and the burden of proof is always on the prosecutor, on the state to show. So even if that's white devil's advocate. If she did prosecute an innocent black man, you got to prove that she knowingly did it and not that she did it because of what was given to her.
But not only that, if she prosecuted an innocent black man, it'd be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere would have said this.
But I guess it's the same argument we make for policemen, the same argument we make for them are the same one they were making for Kamala. So you're blaming individuals who cannot change or have the reform that you want to have. If you want to change it, then you need to elect the individuals in place that's responsible for being the lawmakers. And then once you have the right laws in place, then you have someone like Kamala who can do their job based off of what the law says it should be. And that's where I think we lose our way as black people, that we don't focus on the right targets in terms of what we should be focusing on.
But also, you brought it up earlier that she's very progressive in her thinking. She wants police reform. All the things
she wants police reform. She wants to get rid of the death penalty.
Right. She just made lynching a hate crime. And it's like the things that we want, she's done, but we're kind of glossing over it. And then I want to talk about another topic that people seem to be bringing up is her blackness.
Oh, God.
We wanted a black woman to run as the running mate. But now she's not black enough.
Can we just say
She is
black,
yes,
and Indian,
blackity black,
like from India.
So either way, she's a minority.
Yeah,
and she's black.
Listen, and I'll let you speak. Not only that, she's from Oakland. She was born in Oakland. Her parents are Jamaican and Indian. And if I have to explain to people how Jamaican is African, then I feel like I have to teach you how to cross the street without getting hit by a car. Like, because that argument to say she's not really black is,
that's the same thing they said about Cardi B, because her dad is Trinidadian and it was like she's not black.
That is so stupid. What the fuck? To like, first of all, she's African because her dad is Jamaican descent. She's African. Then she's American because she was born in Oakland. So for people to even have this conversation, but again, they're questioning her blackness wrong.
So we more had this conversation while I was on my way here. And we were talking about the same topic.
Secret conversations, gotcha.
First of all, it was not a secret conversation. I was cursing him out, but why he wasn't home, but whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, we get mad at her, and we question her blackness because of, I guess, her Indian side. Is what we're gonna go with.
Yes.
Yeah, I just think she's light, so people automatically think, black and white.
So that's what
not the case.
So that's what we're gonna go with.
Right.
Even if she was black and white, she's still black.
But let me cut you off for 1 second. When she got nominated, CNN, I thought she was black because she went to Howard. So HBCU. She's a pledge AKA.
Yep.
I thought she was black, and then when CNN was like the first ever black, and then they said Asian American, and I was like, that's interesting because I've never heard that title before.
Right.
Never heard. It's always, that always comes up whenever like it's like some historic thing.
It's always
right.
Go ahead, Ross.
So we're questioning her blackness, and we want to say she's not black enough. But then when Tiger Woods said he wasn't black, we crucified him.
But in saying that, ESPN also, when he was successful, brought up his Asian side.
Right.
Exactly. But when he did wrong,
right. So we want to determine when people are black in our point of view.
But not only that, we get mad when people, like when Joe Biden said, if you're not black, people who don't vote for me, you're not black. But then people got mad for him thinking we're all monolithic. But then we're here doing the exact same thing.
Right. It's messed up.
Like it's extreme double.
So I don't get it. It's like you want somebody black, but then they're not black enough.
Yeah,
It's like the whole school days thing, and then the whole episode with Carlton on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's like you're not black enough because you grew up rich. Yeah. So
well, I mean, but that's a real thing because when we were kids, not a real thing, but I'm saying when I was a kid, if you had both of your parents, you weren't black.
But what I'm saying is when he steps out into the world, they don't know he's rich.
No, that's true.
And they're going to treat him off the color of his skin.
Yeah, and that's
yeah. So we can't dictate when somebody is black enough just because they didn't grow up in an impoverished neighborhood or both their parents ain't black or they marry a white person.
Because that was my upbringing. We've talked about this on multiple occasions. Like I'm never black.
You're not black.
I'm black.
And I think I brought up something.
Both of my parents are black, and yes, my parents were together the whole entire time I was born and alive.
You're not. That's not black.
That's
not black.
Your actions say you're not black.
Okay. We'll talk about that offline. I know. If I do run for office, and they hear me speak, they're like, "Yeah, he's not black." Yeah. But I struggle with that. I still struggle with that. I've never been black enough. So to me, it's just like, it's a constant, I don't understand this whole constant theme of like, if you do X, Y, Z, that's, if you do X, Y, Z, black people can only do A, B, C. Like, you don't want us to be boxed in, but yet you box us into these, continuously into these molds that we have to fit in order to be accepted in the black community. And I struggle with it. I have always wanted nothing but to be accepted by black people, and I always got the worst rejection from black people. So it's like, what do you do? Like,
I think it's because, and I'm sorry you had to go through that, Edward, but I think it's our search for identity and for culture that was taken away from us.
Absolutely.
And we want to define in our mind the definition of what it means to be black. And the reality is, our skin color is more than enough to justify our blackness, and I think that's a problem. Right. So, and I think me and Ron Water was talking about today. If you don't eat collard greens, or
Edward just attacked us for not liking hot sauce.
Or liking hot sauce.
No, I don't like hot sauce.
Yeah.
I never
it was a southern. Never mind. It was a southern thing.
It was a southern thing.
Like it's
my bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my bad. I put you out there. My bad. That was my bad.
Edward just expressed his soul.
I know.
Like that, but then
my bad. Fake news. I'm sorry.
We try to hold each other to these standards, but if someone comes at us and say all black people do is eat watermelon and fried chicken, then we get upset. So it's almost like we want to hold on to these things that say
I don't like
we're black. Me either, actually. I don't like watermelon.
I'm not a big fan of watermelon.
Yeah, so I'm the only one who loves watermelon.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm just gonna bring it next time.
So we want to hold on to these ideas of what it is to be black, and then we want to judge individuals on that.
Right.
But then at the same time, when someone else judges on those things, then we get upset.
Well, I honestly feel like if anyone should be able to do it, it should be us. But it shouldn't be to the detriment of our whole entire community.
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, it's a joke. I don't like sweet potatoes. Okay, I don't like sweet potatoes. Y'all want to rag me about it? That's fine.
You don't like sweet potatoes?
I don't like sweet potatoes.
I don't like collard greens.
You don't like collard greens?
No, I don't like collard greens, and I don't like the way that y'all do. I don't like the way that y'all do your black eyed peas.
Because I didn't get collard greens until I came to Georgia.
I don't like how y'all do black eyed peas.
How do we do our black eyed peas? Like, what's different?
So none of y'all is black, is what we're learning.
Basically, and based on our standards, no, you're not, because you don't even eat hot sauce. So
I don't eat hot sauce.
You don't have hot sauce.
So none of us are truly black.
I'm black, and it's based off the definition. Yeah.
Well,
I do listen to hardcore hip hop though.
Okay.
I'm black, but I'm not black American.
Sorry.
I'm eclectic, so I listen to everything.
So this is my thing too. Speaking about her blackness, they were talking about her husband, and I always listen to CNN on my runs for information, and I was super excited to hear about her husband. I didn't know she was married, so I thought it was cool for us males. We were just talking about this earlier to kind of be behind and cheer on our woman. So the first thing I did when I got home is I looked up her husband. I wanted to research him, figure out who he was. In my head, I'm thinking it's a black guy.
No.
I thought, because
Did you not watch any of her campaign stuff?
No, well, I did, but not really.
Obviously not.
He
was in there all the time.
But as soon as I saw that he was a white guy, I personally wasn't offended by it, but I said, oh snap, this is something the people are going to complain about.
Yes.
She's not black enough because she has a white husband.
Yes.
What do y'all feel about that?
I had a cousin who actually posted a picture of her and her white husband, and along with the meme, she said she arrested a bunch of black men in San Francisco. If that wasn't screaming,
yes,
you know,
I saw that too.
Frustration with black women be frustrated. I don't know what was, and we really have a what's the word I'm looking for? This issue with each other when it comes to colorism, and we just need to deal with that internally. But more importantly, just I guess to your point, you were getting upset with the athletes marrying white women. We need to give our women the opportunity to date outside their race, considering that we just had a conversation about why black men are uncomfortable with our women sometimes. So it's like,
and also she found him later in life.
Later in life, yeah.
So it's a different journey that she got, but I just was like, as soon as I saw, I was like, oh snap.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are gonna say.
Yeah.
People gonna attack that.
Automatically will diminish her efforts for black community. Like her
how can you care about black males when you land with a white man?
They do the same thing with what's his name? He's married to a white woman. Oh goodness, I don't know why his name. Childish Gambino, is that him?
Yes,
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
So
yes, he's married to a white woman.
They do the same thing. Like it's like they're like, how can you actually be for black people if you're not married to?
Oh, how about this? How about they attacked Kendrick Lamar after he made Humble because his wife is very light skinned. She's black, but she's very light skinned. Right. And they said, how are you standing up for black people and you got a light skinned white?
I don't understand how that at all, like, basically, like, diminishes your ability to be able to assert pro-blackness or to, like, push for black people just because you married outside of your race. Is that automatically, like are you disqualified from, the black experience being, allies?
We're messed up, man. We really are.
We're very messed up. Terrence Howard said that when he was coming up, because he was first married to a white woman, and he said when he was coming up, he was trying to date black women, and they all turned him down, and then he meets her, and then so it could have been the same. We don't know, but I just knew. I just knew when I saw him because in my head, my whole time running, I was like, man, it would be so cool to see a black man. And that's how I envisioned it. But as soon as I saw, I was like, oh shit. These people already hating on her. It's going to be just another thing for her to hate on. And if you see, like, I actually read a video. CNN put out a video about him. Like, he seems to really be supporting her, love her, like the type of person that you kind of want.
Yeah.
Right? So my question to you guys is, do you guys think with the help of Kamala Harris, can they win? Can they win in November? Will Kamala Harris... Because right now, the presidential campaign is... Most of us are just trying to get Trump out. We're not that motivated by Joe Biden. But can Kamala Harris now energize enough of us to say, no, we're not only trying to get Trump out, we want to actually support these two candidates?
We would have to stop being our own worst enemy.
Yes. We
would have to get out of our own way and really get out and vote the way that we need to.
Yeah.
We're going to need help because we can't do it by ourselves. We need a lot of help. But we will need to get out of our own way and stop self-hating right now for us to really be successful in doing this. I mean, I've had conversations with y'all, and we've talked in length, and I believe, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see us winning.
You're dead wrong.
I hope I'm wrong.
With that.
Yeah, you're dead wrong.
I hope I'm wrong.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Outside of the hate for Trump, I think that's going to be something that's going to push us over the edge. I think Republicans are just going to have a hard time attacking her. I mean, there's a few liberal stances that she had, that she's made, returned to Medicare for all, that she kind of made public with her when she did her run for the presidency. But outside of that, it's going to be real hard for them to actually, I personally think, to attack her. Outside of the normal attack that they have.
She nasty.
I think that they're going to bring up her past with the whole, with the police officer that was, she did not seek the death penalty
when
for
the
that.
Police officer got killed.
Right, because the police, that's how she lost the first, one of her first runnings. So I think they're going to bring that back up to try to energize the police to also be against her. I think that's one of the
New York police already said they're siding with Trump. Oh, my bad,
exactly.
My bad, y'all.
So I think that's gonna like her track record of some things where it wasn't necessarily in favor of what quote unquote America wanted to see is what's going to kind of be a demise for her. But I do think that it is going to energize Black women. I think that Black women, some Black women do have an issue with her, but I do think that the imagery of her being there,
I agree with you. But is that going to help? And I say that because Black women were already majority voting against Trump.
But you know what it is. We Black women are going to start to like compare her to Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
So if it was Michelle Obama, we would not be having this question. This conversation would never be happening. But because of what she did in her past and who she's married to, and she ain't dark enough,
right,
we have this conversation instead of saying, you know what, this is something that our young daughters can look up to and strive for.
But I said that as soon as she got nominated, she should have been on the phone with Michelle Obama. Yeah. And trying to help Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama should have helped her navigate this thing. I think if it's an easier transition, like you said, between Michelle Obama and her, I agree. If Michelle Obama would have ran, we wouldn't even be having this discussion.
But we have to remember that it's Biden at the top of the ticket. So we don't believe that Biden will cancel out some of our concerns. I guess some of yours, Edward, as far as, well, I guess from your angle, what white people may think of her.
I think that Biden helps with the progressive part of the ticket.
Progressive.
Actually, it helps with, he has a lot of constituents that are Republican. So a lot of people definitely look to him because he's kind of been like really good with collaborating and things like that. I think Kamala Harris helps mostly the Black vote, honestly. It'll help. I think it'll help energize Black people because it's a new face. And I think it's good for us because, number one, it's the first time we ever had a Black female person on the ticket as vice president.
Well, what about the Black Lives Matter crew? Are they going to jump on board?
I think that honestly, you're going to. Well, you know how they have that whole thing. They're like, oh, we don't like either candidate, so we're not going to vote, or we're going to vote for this person.
Or vote independent.
Right.
I
mean,
vote for Kanye or something.
I think
that
your vote, of course, everyone should vote. Your vote does matter. If it didn't matter, then there wouldn't be so much money spent on trying to sway your vote. So if you think that your vote doesn't matter, then why are they spending millions and millions of dollars
billions of dollars
to get your vote? So I think that really to the left, people are going to continue to vote how they voted. But what we need to do is at least turn some of those people to start thinking at what's going to be best for the country. And what's best for the country is honestly not another 4 years of Trump.
Yeah, but I think that, and that's why I disagree with Raw and his, because we seen what Trump did. Like, Trump handled this corona, we just talked about it last week, handled this coronavirus terrible. Like, when these things happen, who do you want being your head? And I think Kamala Harris, I think she's great. Especially, I'm looking at the Joe Biden interviews and I'm like, man, shut the hell up.
Yeah, just be quiet.
Like, sometimes, man, shut the hell, because he just basically said that how he alluded that the Hispanic community are so diverse and Black people aren't. And I'm just like, man, shut the hell up, man. Like, and that's why I'm happy Kamala Harris is there, because we need to shut the hell up.
Let her handle that,
Stop talking about Black people, because every time you do, you fuck it up.
Exactly.
So I'm super excited. When I heard the news, the first thing I did was I went and told my daughter. I went and told her, and I was just like, this is great, man, because it shows that she can be, if she envisions herself, because representation matters.
Yep.
If she envisions herself to want to be that, she can, because she's actually seeing a Black woman do it.
Right? So I have a question. Why, if representation matters, why are so many of our people having problems with her?
Because it's not who they want. It's
and it's also new.
Yeah. It's
like
new.
Change is hard for people. Like,
but we just went through it. 8 years ago?
But you see what happened then.
Right.
Well, that's the backlash of it. But still, we were willing to accept something that was new.
And to act like Obama didn't do anything, because that's what they're going to say. Obama did nothing for Black people. Like, his percentage of cutting Black unemployment is way bigger than what Trump brags about.
Yep.
It was already going down when Obama was president, and he just brags about inheriting that.
Yeah.
And that's a good question I would like to ask y'all, because I think this is what you're alluding to, Sean. Is what do Black people want?
What do we want?
What do we want?
I remember when, of course, we know Biden is now our presumptive nominee, only because of what happened in South Carolina. where black people came out and voted.
They came out. We saved his life.
We
saved
saved
his political life.
And then from there, he came back and said, okay, and black people said, don't take advantage of our vote.
Right.
He heard that and said, look here, I'm going to get a female vice president.
Right.
And not only a female, but she's going to be black.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's making true on his promise by saying, you didn't waste your vote on me, here you go, someone that you can look to.
What do you want?
Why are we still not satisfied with that?
And especially with all this Trump has shown.
Because we don't know what we want.
Yeah.
We honestly, I can't say collectively I know what I want, I know what I look for, but if I think about black people collectively, it's so all over the place.
Yeah, nobody knows exactly what they want. We don't have a
leader.
We don't have an idea of where we want to go. We just want this, but we don't know how to get there.
Right.
But also, when you've seen what Trump has said, like how you want that?
But no one looks at that. Like honestly, it's because it's like people are desensitized to that now.
It's like you accept him for who he is.
And
he is who he is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept who he is. People make excuses for that, and it gets twisted and turned. So at the end of the day, we got desensitized to things that Trump do. Like it doesn't bother you anymore because he's just done so many things, and you would think that and said so many things.
His boys will be boys.
You would think that at the end of the day, like people would not continue to go along with the rhetoric, but they support him like none other.
Well, and I remember seeing the Michelle documentary on Netflix, and to your point, Edward, she wasn't surprised by the people who didn't vote, who voted for Trump. She was just surprised by our people who just didn't come out and vote at all. And that's the problem. You know, when are we going to come together? Because if you think over time, change doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow and steady process. So your candidate you have may not have check all the boxes off for you in this first time around, but it's a step in the right direction to get what you really want.
You can also demand what you want from these people. So we're going to start closing it out, but I think that black women has always been the moral compass of society, and I'm for one ecstatic that we will have one in a huge leadership position. I believe we all kind of think the same way. But I seriously, and I posted this on Facebook, I think black males really need to start doing some soul searching with themselves, because man, we sit here and bitch.
I don't know what to say.
Bitch on social media. We're mad when black people don't get an opportunity, and we mad when they do. It's just like us black males, of course not ones that sitting in this room. I hope some of them are listening to this, because you guys are sitting here bitching about everything, and you really need to look in the mirror and figure out what do you guys want. I just want to end this on a quote, and it's by the great philosopher Tupac Shakur. He says, now since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our woman, why we rape our women, do we hate our women? Black males, we really got to look at ourselves, man, and look at ourselves in the mirror, have a real conversation, and figure out what we want. Till the next time, this is the Less of a Man podcast. We out.